All right, welcome everyone back to Is It Prophecy here on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, and you can check out some of our previous episodes with Rabbi David Katz, Rabbi Ken Spiro, Dr. Gerald Schroeder, and much, much more. I'm also on JApp. You can download JApp from iTunes or Google Play stores or from the website www.j-app.me. And JApp is a wonderful Jewish application that has different shiurim and episodes of this program, so you can check it out there. Again, the email, messiahhour@gmail.com. We're continuing our conversation with Leslie Ann Stoffel, who is a writer for the Jerusalem Post, Times of Israel, United Israel, and of course she has her own blog, the realclearisrael.org. Leslie, let's talk about a recent article you wrote for the Jerusalem Post, Awakening the Global Islamic Jihad, the fifth column in the West. Why is it that you touch upon the fifth column in the West? What does global jihad have to do with the western part of the world?
Okay, well, now this, I've been, as I said, I'm a real news junkie, so I follow this stuff all the time, and it just really dawned on me, and I think I actually heard one of the commentators say it. This went after I wrote this actually before the hostage taking at the kosher deli. I wrote this right when the shootings happened at the Charlie Hebdo place, journalist place. So, it just, it just came to me in a flash. It was like, these things have been happening all over the world, and somebody said it, and then I picked up on it, and I thought, you know what? These are lying low. These people are lying low, and they have heard the call. Now they have heard the call because the ISIS, the Islamic State guy, the head guy there, he said it, and they put out videos and they say, hey, rise up and start attacking Western targets. So this is exactly what I thought. I thought, okay, there's no more we can ignore this now. I mean, I have got to say this. This is what is happening, and the others, might disagree, but this is exactly what I believe is happening. And I wrote my article, and I said, in the beginning, at the very start, I said, freedom is the right to tell people what they do not want to hear, and that is from George Orwell. And you see, and then my next sentence was, Islamic State Caliphate has put out the call for jihad around the world, and the fifth column within the West is rising and heeding the call. I mean, because just recently, I was actually in Israel when this happened, but we had a jihad attack on our parliament buildings here in Canada. And then there was, there's been stabbings of people there, of beheadings in the U.S., and there was that, it kind of happens in spurts. Sometimes it'll be, it'll go and won't be any for a while, and then there will be some, but there's just no doubting it anymore that this is a fifth column that's been placed that is around the West, and these guys don't even have to come from Iraq and Syria to here, because their fifth column's already here, and they put the call out however they do it, and they do it a lot on social media from what I understand, and then they just rise up and attack the targets, and this is why we're in such trouble, and why our leaders must get together and begin to have a really pointed plan to deal with this.
All right, so I understand that you're saying they should have a very good plan to deal with this, but the question is, will they? Do you see that happening?
Oh, Ari, that's the $1 million question. That is the $1 million question. I don't know. I honestly hope they will. But gosh, I thought, well, this is great, when you see all the leaders stand there, oh, great, we're all together, and all of a sudden my face dropped. What? You got the terrorists there too? Oh, okay, well, you just blanked out everything you just did then. Okay? It means nothing. So, my hope went out the window right there. But what can we do? All we can do, what I'm trying to do is I'm just going on and on and on about this. And there are other people like me, and they're going on about it, and Spencer and Geller and, that other lady, she's 11, oh gosh, I can't remember her name right at the moment. Brigitte Gabrielle. There's so many of them. They're all trying to heed the call. That Brooke Goldstein. So many. And hopefully we can put pressure on the point where they will do something. because we're actually at a tipping point. We're at the same place that we were, that the world was when Chamberlain was rushing back and forth to Germany to appease Hitler. And that's a very good video to watch, by the way, if you've never watched it. There is a video on YouTube about the whole entire meeting process that Chamberlain and Hitler went through, and how Hitler just continued to up the ante and got everything he asked for. So we're actually in that spot now. And then, oh my gosh, there's the whole Iran situation too. So, and apparently Obama wants Iran to get hegemony in the Middle East. So, I hate to be a bearer of really, really bad news. So what I'm going to say is I'm hoping, like I say, I'm just a grassroots writer here. I don't have any power over anything, but I'd really love it if somebody would listen, you know?
Well, that's part of the reason we have you on the show, Leslie, is, you know, we like your writings here, and we want people to know about it. Again, you can check out Leslie's writings. We'll promote it also at the end of the program, but people go to therealclearisrael.org. I want to talk about...
Yeah, because under there, I'll tell them, under there they can find articles, blogs, and media. I have a spot that, so everything I've written is there. And they can also go to they can like me on Twitter, Facebook, and look at my YouTube thing and Pinterest from that front page of therealclearisrael.org. Everyth's there.
And let's talk about an interesting article you wrote called "Don't Confuse Me with the Facts: Israel and International Law." And it's interesting that you talk about God's biblical covenant with Israel, and that's not always talked about when dealing with who has rights to the land. A lot of times they'll talk about politics, they'll talk about recent history.
Yeah.
How much is that an important part, that there's a religious aspect? I mean, that sounds like so obvious, but it's just not talked about in the media, so I want to talk about it here, so go ahead.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Because, okay, there's 3,500 years of Jewish history in the land. It's written in the Bible, in the Torah, the Tanakh. This is extremely important. It also ties in with all the archaeology that is found within that land, layer by layer by layer of synagogues and Jewish towns, and on it goes. So it's all tied in, and that's what we've done in Western civilization up until now, when all of a sudden there's a narrative and nothing matters. But back in the day, when things, went by fact and process and due process and whatever, all these things mattered and counted when you're building a case. And that's what we're doing here. We're building a case because this case matters. It's the only Jewish homeland in the world. Where are the Jews supposed to go? They can't go to Europe anymore, can they? Because Europe's almost finished.
Yeah, Europe does look like it's on its way out. Is it time for the Jews of Europe to, I mean, there's not a whole lot of Jews, but there is a significant number that matters, and any Jew matters, but is it time to kind of abandon ship and come to Israel?
Well, I would say so. Now, I don't like to tell people what to do, especially since I'm not Jewish, but I would say, in my opinion, it would be wonderful if they could go home to Israel, to their land, and to be safe there, and to be welcomed there, and also to keep building up that beautiful country. It's an amazing, beautiful place. And if you had all these people there with all their the inventiveness and smarts and everything else, and families, they could really build it up and make it even more wonderful.
Now, you've been to Israel a few times. I know you're here in 2008. And tell us a bit about your experiences. The people out there listening that haven't been to Israel, tell them why they should come.
Oh, man. Oh, I could go on forever. Well, I love Jerusalem. And there's all sorts of things to do. And there's a juxtaposition of the very, very, very old and the brand new. So you could be having coffee at the cafe on Jaffa Street, and you can ride the train. You can jump on the train and head down to the gate there at Jaffa and go right into the old city, where it's very old. and you can see so many. If you have a guide, it's the best, I think, because they can tell you, like, sometimes when you're just walking around, you can't exactly tell what this and that is. But if you have a guide, they can tell you, this was from the Herod period, and this was from the first temple period and the second temple period, and all this sort of thing. And I love going to the beach at Tel Aviv, so I'll take the bus and I'll go out to the beach and meet my friends in Tel Aviv. And there's so many things to do. There's all kinds of nightlife and everything if that's what you're into, and restaurants. The food is the best ever. I mean, the food in Israel tastes better than anywhere in the world because a tomato tastes like a tomato, a strawberry tastes like a strawberry. Like, it's delicious. And make sure and have that Moroccan dish where they cook the eggs in the tomatoes for your breakfast. I forget what it's called, shik or something.
Shashuka, yeah.
Shashuka, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell somebody to have that because it's probably at a restaurant close by. And then you can go to all sorts of things like Masada, and you can go down to Eilat. You name it, you can do it there, and it's just beautiful. And I always felt safe. In Israel.
Did that surprise you? Because the media makes Israel sound like it's so dangerous, so were you surprised how safe it was?
The first time I was a little bit surprised, and then no. Afterwards I learned, hey, I've been there like 5 times now. I've spent like a total of like 2 years altogether there. I've got tons of friends. I feel very safe. I do. Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes where you have to just watch, okay, there were those, car things going on, whatever, but I just watch out, and then it dies down because they want to take care of their people, and they want to take care of the tourists, and, it's the only democracy in the Middle East. It's so magical there. It's unbelievable. I would tell anybody, if you haven't gone, please go. It's so worth it. Your life will never be the same.
Again, this is a prophecy on Israel National Radio, Route Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so. Again, I'm on JApp. You can check me out there, www.j-app.me. And again, email messiahhour@gmail.com. Continuing the conversation with Leslie Ann Stoffel. Now, Leslie, I wanted to break something here on the show in case people listening, if they haven't read your work, you're not Jewish, and it's interesting because you're the second non-Jewish woman this week on the program. I like to have diversity here. So tell us, why are you into Israel so much if you're not of the Jewish faith?
Well, it's really interesting. My mom was a Zionist when I was growing up. It was so strange. And I caught this bug from her. Like, she had a friend, my mom was a hairdresser and she sold wigs, and she had this Jewish lady who was one of her clients, and this lady would talk to her and tell her, read this book, Oh Jerusalem. So my mom did, and this and that, and then she had all the biographies here at the house of everybody, and also one of Jewish people, famous Jewish people. And back in the day too, I remember, she told me that when she was a child, 10 years old, I think it was, they'd go to the movies and the newsreels would be on. They didn't have like news and stuff like we do, but the newsreels were coming up and talking about the rebirth of the Jewish nation. So this was like, she's like, wow, this is so cool. And she always had some kind of an interest in it. So I caught this bug from her, and then I carried it on into life. And then later on, I learned more about the Bible, because we didn't really have the Bible in our house or anything like that. And when I was 10 years old, I remember seeing some like Israeli soldiers on TV, and I thought, oh, they're so brave, and so handsome, and it's like, oh, they're so wonderful. And then, as I grew older, I started to really realize, Jerusalem is the center of the world here, and I really want to find out about this. So I started reading and, reading the Bible, finding out what's going on there, and then started, reading second books like the time from time immemorial, that Joan Peters book that tells about the real story of the Palestinians. Okay, so those books, and O Jerusalem, and different things, and this was all my interest culminated and kept going until finally I just, it's something, that it kind of chooses you. you don't choose it. It's like put in your heart, and then I just kind of went with it, and it's just kind of gone from there. And I listen to my intuition a lot. Like if I get an intuition about something, I listen to it. And so I go with it, and it's not done me wrong yet.
Now, on Facebook, you have a tremendous Facebook presence. You have 10,000 likes for a group you have, and I'm curious, personally, because you're not Jewish and you support Israel, do you get more flack or less flack? Is there, not that I would say anti-Semitism because you're not Jewish, but something anti-Israel towards you because you have a
Yeah.
stance? So just go ahead.
I have had that. I've been attacked a lot. I even wrote an article about it called "Hate is Not Enough." It's on my Times of Israel blog, and if somebody wants to see it, go to my page under articles and blogs under the Times of Israel. You can see it. But when they were having that, this is just one of the times. This was the worst time when the boys were kidnapped and they had the Bring Back Our Boys thing, and we were all putting our pictures up on their page to help them and saying Bring Back the Boys. And I got flooded on Twitter and Facebook with hate and death messages, and I should be killed by Dad's blood, all this crap. And I saved as many of them as I could, just in case I was going to need to take them to the authorities. But I never did, and then I just blocked and got rid of those people who they couldn't contact me anymore. So yeah, I mean I've had it, but hey, I actually started to realize just a little bit of what the Jewish people have been going through all these years, because when we were praying for the boys to come back, and then we found out they were dead right away. I mean, like me and my mom we were crying. Like we were so devastated from that. And then and then they're shooting rockets in. And then there's fires in my friend's neighborhoods over there. I was here at the time. And then actually my friend over there had cancer and I had to go over and then he died. Like, I mean, it was just one thing. And then I was getting those horrible death things and whatever. I mean, and I thought, wow, these people have been putting up with this kind of stuff for thousands of years. And it was sort of a bit of, a loss of innocence in a way for me, and then a redoubling of my efforts. It's like, okay, if this is what we're up against, yeah, look out.
All right, and the last question I have for you, I wanted to get your perspective on the media in Canada because we get some United States channels here, Fox News, we get MSNBC, we get CNN, etc., and we see if they're pro-Israel or they're anti-Israel. I want to know your thoughts, though, about Canadian media, Canadian television in particular.
Okay, now Canadian media is just like the rest of the media. It's liberal, left-wing, pro-Palestinian. The stories are always slanted against Israel and on and on. But thank God we have the Sun News Network now, and they are very pro-Israel and very much will give the non-moral relativism side of things. They'll give the moral, truthful side of things. So yeah, luckily we got them now because they are countering all of these negative messages that were always out there, the same as everybody else, about Israel and how they're always the bad guy and blah, 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 blah. And they're definitely countering that.
All right. Again, my guest this afternoon has been Leslie Ann Stoffel, who has a very popular blog. You can check that out at the realclearisrael.org, and you can check her on Twitter, Real Clear Israel, and you can find her on Facebook, and Real Clear Israel, very popular Facebook page, about 10,000 likes. She works with United with Israel. Leslie, this has been great. Really appreciate the time. Thank you so much, not just for being on my program, but all the writing, all the work you do. It's very important that you get the truth about Israel, since a lot of the media doesn't cover it. So again, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Ari, and I'll come visit you and we'll have coffee the next time I come over.
Sounds great. And also, let's do that, and everyone can see how safe it is, and there isn't a problem, despite what the media might say. And again, thank you, everyone, for listening. This is a Prophecy in Israel National Radio, Root Sheva. The show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free to do so. Find me at j-app.me. Email me, messiahhour@gmail.com. All right, folks, before we go, I wanted to remind everyone that we're looking for contributions from listeners just like yourself. this show thrives and survives to listeners just like yourself. If you're getting some benefit out of the program, you're getting some information, you're getting education, whatever it is, and you feel inclined, you can give a donation through PayPal. My PayPal account is israelsportsradio@yahoo.com. Any amount is appreciated. If you want to give the symbolic high of $18 or $36 or $72, one chai, two chai, three chai, four chai, whatever, we will be happy to accept it. Again, PayPal is israelsportsradio@yahoo.com. That goes directly to me, and we want to take the show to the next level. Originally was on once a week for about 6 months. Now I'm on every day for 1 hour a day, and I would like to be on 3 hours a day. And also I would like better equipment. A lot of people have been commenting to me, writing to me, saying that the interviews sound not with the best sound quality, especially on my end, and that's because I'm using the Skype mic. I'll be honest with you, it's a 100 shekel Skype mic. I want some funds so I can increase the quality, not just the sound quality, but also the quality in terms of more programming, 3 hours a day. And we'd like to have people set up research and also people to set up booking more guests because I'm doing everything here by myself. So if you're getting a benefit out of the program, you like what you're listening to, you want more of it, then the best way you can be a part of that is to make a contribution through PayPal, israelsportsradio@yahoo.com. And, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's a free way to help me out. You go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, subscribe to the YouTube channel. The more subscriptions I get, again, it's free to do so, the more subscriptions I get and the more hits I get, the higher I go up in the YouTube search. That means more people will find out about this program who don't know about this program. We got an email pretty recently saying exactly that, even though I wasn't that high up in the search. The person never heard of the show. They found me on YouTube. That's what I want. I want more people to find out about this program and the ideas of this program. So a way you can help out is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's a free way to help me out, and to tell your friends and your family to do the same thing. The more subscriptions I get, the better. I've been very happy with the amount of subscriptions we got in the past month and want to ride the momentum and just go higher and higher. So, again, Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. My email is messiahhour@gmail.com, and PayPal is israelsportsradio@yahoo.com. Again, you can send your contribution there. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and have a great day. This is It Prophecy on IsraelNationalRadio.com.